Free services, Lavazzi and book1.co.uk present the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 584. I'm Adam, and God, I don't have any quotes in this program. I don't know. And here's Debbie Melrose.
Did you see the lights flicker?
Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
Are you my mummy? You could have done that.
I don't care. I'm done with quotes. Unless there's something really funny. There are a couple of, I think, as far as I remember, a couple of half-decent quotes in this particular episode.
Oh, there's
one
a
made
whole
me laugh,
bunch of
but I can't
quotes.
remember which one it was. I know there's one made me laugh. Right then, so this week is the Mummy on the Orient Express. As a couple of our regular presenters who can't be bothered to show up for the episode. I mean, what is the matter with people, Debbie, that don't often show up to do the show? Can you think of anybody who might be regularly not showing up to do the show? Can I just remind all listeners, and new listeners, potentially, if we have them, that I've showed up for every single episode, even one that they attempted to hijack many years ago. I even showed up for that one. Reese tried to hijack the show. But anyway,
I remember that.
I still inputted my own bits to it. I've been on all 584 and a bit episodes. So there we go. Yes, I do need a round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.
In a visual display in my spreadsheet.
Joy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still trying to get this to share on. It's not letting me do it. Bloody thing. I'm trying to get this to share on the. I found it. Right, hang on. This makes great podcasting, but nevertheless, I'm going to do it anyway. To share it on the Isle of Wight Doctor Who fans page. Bear with me a moment, Debbie. I know you're very impatient to get going, but we're going to just do this particular job, what I have to do. I don't know what Doctor Who.
No, you get on with the job, what you must do.
I am doing it. Now the computer's actually doing stuff a bit faster than it has been recently. Okay, and also, hang on.
What I was saying earlier is we've had snow interweb today as well. So
I thought you said we've had snow in the web. That's a very strange place to have snow. Ian Kirk says...
Well, it's probably the only place the Isle of Wight's going to get it this year.
Yeah. Ian Kirk says, Adam could hear himself. I can hear Kirby, and he is not here this week.
No, I'm not.
He's on call.
Yeah, I'm on call.
Right.
I've got this, and unfortunately, my on-call phone is this strange thing called an iPhone. It's weird.
Who cares?
He's got Mac technology.
Whatever.
It's got a switch on the side to turn off and on the ringer, which you can do that with software.
Okay.
Yeah, the ringer's great though.
But the fact you can turn it off and you flicked a switch, what's wrong with that? Okay, this week we're going to be doing... we're not going to be doing... We are going to be doing Mummy on the Orient Express, which begins eventually when my computer catches up with itself, which it's obviously not going to do. It actually won't even light up the little... Oh dear, what's going on here? Oh, it's because it started. I do apologise. It starts with this rather sort of unwell-looking person creeping. Oh yeah, there's a little bit about Orient Expresses and a lovely shot of the train, which is rather cute. What?
She was kind of strange looking in Curse of Fenric too.
I'm talking about the Mummy.
No, I'm talking about
I'm talking about the Mummy. Yes, okay, the old lady was in Curse of Fenric.
I thought this one was called Mrs. Pitt.
Never mind.
She is Mrs. Pitt here, but she's Mrs. Hardacre and was taking care of the.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make: a rather ill-looking person is creeping their way through a carriage, but only the old lady can blatantly, obviously, see this person, and they look rather like they need a doctor. To be fair, do you see what I did there?
Isn't that a wonderful, wonderful costume?
Thank you.
The Mummy.
It's only a jumper and a...
The Mummy is the highlight.
This is my work uniform, Mummy. Anyway, so basically, to cut a long story short, eventually, after 66 seconds, the DeLorean takes off and travels. No, that's 82. Isn't it? No. Anyway, yes. So she gets done in. She gets deaded by the mummy, and off goes this beautiful space train. So superb. I also love the way that after the title sequence, the Doctor sort of because Clara's still in a bit of a huff. With the Doctor, but it's one last little journey, and he's really turning on the charm to her, and she looks bloody gorgeous in this episode, has to be said. And yeah, so he's going to impress her by taking her on the Orient Express, a replica of one of the famous Earth Orient Expresses, which is slightly wider, as the Doctor says, etc., etc. And it's beautiful, and he sort of gives her a little bit of a tour. Obviously, there's murder things. Foxes is singing. Haven't heard much from her since, to be fair.
No, not really. I was going to say, I was like, foxes?
Well, Master.
Yeah,
she took 4 years off where she didn't tour or record, and then she started recording again in 2020.
Yeah. Oh. She's cool.
Keep up with these things.
It's a great song that she's decided to sing on this particular episode. Anyway, so I'm going to cut another little bit of the long story short. Obviously, the old lady's died, and her companion's gone a bit.
Maisie.
Relative of her, isn't
Granddaughter.
Granddaughter.
She's called Maisie in this.
Maisie.
Yes.
Gone a bit, stressed, shall we say? Because her grandmother, did you say?
Yeah.
Grandmother.
Died in front of her. Do you know who she reminds me of? The actress that plays Maisie, as you call her. She looks like Coleman. What was her name? Olivia Coleman. For me, just a little bit in the face.
Ah, yeah, I guess so.
But anyway, so I'm going to cut a little bit of a longer story short, a bit further still, while the Doctor and that and what's her name, Clara, go into their rooms, and the Doctor's continuing the charm fest, and I get a little buffering thing going around and around while I'm trying to actually review this particular part of this episode. It's not making my life very easy. I did say the internet's running a little bit slow at the moment. See how I fill the gap with loads of words that don't necessarily mean anything, but nevertheless.
With flannel.
Flannel? How dare you?
Flannel.
Right.
You fill it with flannel.
No, I'm filling it with words, but it's not playing. It's just stopped. I might have to do this off by heart. So, there's a scene in which the Doctor's lying on his back, and he's sort of talking to himself a little bit while in his little cabin. I don't know what he's trying. Is he trying to work stuff out? I don't know. And then Clara phones Danny up.
But he, Master.
The
Doctor
Master.
Also, when he has that little conversation with himself, he sort of has a Tom Baker intonation to his voice.
That's what I remembered from it. Thank you, Kirby. You actually get one of these for once. Notice how dim it was. I just really faint.
What I was having trouble with was why did they stop doing the investigation and go and lay down, and where was this nightgown and dressing gown hidden that Clara seemed to suddenly be wearing?
Science fiction fantasy TV train.
Now, I do happen to like that nightgown or pajamas.
I like what was potentially going to be wearing it, to be fair. She looks great in this episode. Anyway, so she phones up Danny, and I think Danny's sort of...
They have a bitch about the Doctor, basically.
Yeah, to bitch about the Doctor, but he sort of seems to have been well chilled out now, and knowing that all Clara's doing is jaunting around the space and time universe, and she's not actually interested in the Doctor at all.
No, she's interested in becoming the Doctor.
Yeah.
Will you stop
Eventually.
it? Will you stop it, or I will set my dog onto you? Odie! I was asleep. So no, Clara has got a nightie on, like you say, and she starts to wonder.
Pajamas.
It's a nightie.
I just said pajamas.
Starts wandering around the train at night, and the
I
Doctor
corrected myself, Debbie.
The Doctor meets up with that bloke from Fantasy Football League and from the Portrait Artist of the Year and Landscape Artist of the Year series that Mary has already watched, because he co-presents that. I seem to remember at the time
got
not
Mr.
being
Collins
over.
from 1995's Pride and Prejudice as well in this.
At the time, I wasn't overly impressed with Frank Skinner's performance. Actually, if I wasn't impressed with his performance, I've changed my mind. I think he's really good.
No, he is one of the best things about this episode. We discussed it last time. I'm pretty sure Kirby will tell us.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so
You weren't on, Debbie, or were you?
I thought I was.
Let me check. Anyway, I've only seen Frank Skinner in this, and apparently he's in the Five-ish Doctors reboot.
he's
but
a
I
big
don't
Doctor Who
remember
fan,
him.
and I met him at the Liverpool Comic Con. Sorry, I've never been to Liverpool Comic Con. London Film and Comic Con last year. So the Doctor's a bit baffled initially by this whole situation. And Clara decides to befriend this Maisie.
Oh, yeah,
woman.
you were on it. Sorry.
Oh, Jesus.
Maisie, yeah.
Yeah, so she befriends Maisie. So they're on a little bit of a mission because they've sort of split up and they can still talk to each other.
Isn't Maisie one of the actresses from... no, she isn't. I thought she might be one of the actresses from Call the Midwife, but it's just the hair.
Thank you for that. Anyway, so the next bloke, the sort of posh bloke he speaks to in the next scene, he's going to die. And oh no, sorry, no, it's the waiter, isn't it? The chef. The chef. Is just about to get done in. He even locks himself another room to try and escape. A logical thing to do, but unfortunately, little does he know that the teleportation ability of this sort of mummy thing, and he gets diddied in exactly the same amount of time as the previous person.
Even though none of the passengers, no one in the story can see the little flip number countdown clock.
The countdown.
I like that. You're going to moan. I knew you'd
Yeah,
moan about that. Kirby, science fiction fantasy TV show
I know.
that is
I just
perfectly
said
entitled.
I like it.
So do I. So if I like it, it doesn't matter what everybody else thinks, does it?
I also liked that, and you may have noticed that I used it as the picture for getting feedback. I like the fact that the Doctor has a cigarette case filled with jelly babies.
Cool.
I love this it's a cigarillo case.
Okay.
Jelly baby.
Anyway.
And Master, you completely missed that.
Missed what?
10 years ago.
Excuse me,
Miss
I thought
what?
we discussed it last time.
Well, we did discuss it, but you and I told him
About what?
the jelly baby.
Well, congratulations, I missed it again. Anyway. Yeah, right. So the Doctor and Frank Skinner are wandering around together while Clara and Maisie are just sitting together. Clara's holding on to her phone, and just in case she can have another chat with Danny or the Doctor. So to cut a long story short, I'm going to move it forward a bit here.
Well, the thing is, when Clara and Maisie are trying to break into the, Buster's security system, it's like Clara's taken on the Doctor's role in that bit.
I don't give a tinker's cuss. So what's the Doctor doing then? Is he not being the Doctor then? If Clara's taking on the Doctor role, how silly can you get? The Doctor is going around trying to solve stuff, waving around sonic screwdrivers, telling people what to do, letting people die so he can assist his.
What I'm saying, Adam, before you go off on your usual rant.
How dare you!
Is that the scenes that are being given to Clara where she's reassuring people and taking over and that, it's the Doctor's scenes.
Yes, but he's told her to do it. Oh my God!
No,
right, that's it.
Oh, but I still object because it's not the companion show; it's the Doctor Who show. Was he not available for most of this one?
Well, how can he be in two places? I know he's a Time Lord, and if he gets another one of his selves involved in it, but he does not going to get himself as a companion, is he? He's got a companion as a companion, and he can't be in two places.
Yeah, but when he used to send his companion off to do something, the camera stayed with the Doctor.
He's delegating. Anyway, moving on. Right then, so somebody else snuffs it. Let's see who snuffs it next.
Someone.
Yeah, one of the.
Chef, isn't it?
No, the chef's already gone.
Wow.
Somebody else snuffs it in one of the cabins. The Doctor sort of more or less witnesses this, and he's starting to sort of try and work out why people are getting deaded or getting picked.
Of the train employees.
Thank you for that, Kirby. Yes,
that narrows it down.
Yes, virtually everybody on the
Like one of the
is-
guards.
Yeah, one of the guards. Yes, guards. So eventually, moving on a little bit further, they work out him and there's a couple of scientists on there, aren't there? Work out that it's some people have got either medical issues or mental health issues are being bumped off by said thingy, and.
Yes.
They've also worked out the 66 seconds, and one 66-second time period starts, and the posh bloke can see the mummy, and the mummy, and the doctor knows he's going to die, but yet he forces him to make as many descriptions as possible about said mummy as it's creeping towards him. Initially he doesn't think he's going to die, but then he realises, and he basically commentates through the whole thing. Doctor's a little bit sort of flippant about the inevitable death. He's not usually that flippant, but I suppose he's just in flippant mode at
He's
this point.
been written quite nasty in this one. Not
Yeah.
very
Well,
caring.
It continues what he's been doing for the entire series.
I know.
Remember the one soldier inside the Dalek?
Right.
Yeah.
But Master,
No.
all of the passengers except for apparently the train guards and the cooks are scientists or
Yes,
people
I know,
with-
because it's all like a hologram train, as we find out. I noticed one of the scientists is made to look exactly like Albert Einstein, which I thought was quite funny. Right then, so moving a bit
and
further
none of them
still.
has speaking roles. None of the other scientists have speaking roles.
Okay.
Observant scientist.
So another one person is allowed to die. The bloke that was the main guard bloke who tries to shoot the mummy, which had been tried earlier, as the doctor says, and obviously has to it gets done in again. And so I think eventually the doctor decides he's going to be
The victim.
doesn't he? Yeah, so he sort of takes the emotions of Maisie out of her and puts them into himself. So as the mummy who initially starts attacking her starts attacking him.
Yep.
And during that attack, he realises that the mummy is a soldier. And so did he sort of say something like "stand down" or something like that, or "I surrender"? That's
No,
it. I remember.
I surrender.
Which basically makes the soldier do a salute thingy, and then that's the end of the soldier. Well, the mummy, and the doctor did his doctory thing. Hey, Deb, not Clara. The doctor
I
solved
know.
the thing. It was the doctor that solved
watched it
the
too.
whole shebang. Yeah. So, and then they basically sort of stop at a planet and
Oh no,
the
Gus
mu-
tries
mu-
to
yeah,
kill them
I
all.
think. Sorry.
Gus tries to kill them all.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He doesn't. The doctor saves him. Although I remember when I first saw this, and also during our discussion 10 years ago, I was thinking that the doctor, because he's lied so much in this story, that he was lying about saving everyone else. But I found out later that they did actually happen to have Maisie on the beach with them during that scene. The beach filled with all the big rocks. And they just cut it for time.
Okay. But anyway, so up to this
But
point,
obviously Perkins was saved.
yes. Up to this
We
point,
surrender.
Clara was sort of more or less sort of building up for her sort of goodbye, and then she has another conversation with Danny, and then realises, no, I want to carry on travelling with the doctor, please, thank you very much. And yeah, and of course Perkins sort of, I think the doctor hints that Perkins comes along with them, but he's sort of not impressed because he's got another series of landscape artist of the year to do at this point.
Well, Perkins that is like inspecting the TARDIS. I love that.
Yes, and
He understands the TARDIS.
And Joan Bakewell can't do it without him at this stage, but obviously since then she's got another sidekick for the show. And that essentially is the story of the Mummy on the Orient Express. So I'm going to tell you what I thought of it. I thought this was actually quite good. Yeah, I admit the Doctor's a bit moody, but I suppose even Time Lord's allowed to be a little bit grumpy. And he is quite grumpy in this series. Yes, I know Clara has scenes to do with other characters within the story, but it's still the Doctor that solves everything and is the hub of the action in this episode. And to be fair, Jenna Coleman is, oh my God, hot. I mean, I burnt my blimmin' hands just touching the screen when she was on it. She's absolutely gorgeous in this episode, and she just lights up the screen, doesn't she? I'm surprised she's not in Hollywood. She's that nice looking, and she's a really good actress. But anyway, that's a really, really. I mean, I seem to remember. Always reminds me when I was a kid. We went to. You're too young to remember this, Kirby, but back in the 70s, when you used to go to the cinema, you'd have two films to watch. You'd have the main feature. And you'd also have a B feature to watch. So you pay your money for the cinema, and you could stay in there for about 4 or 5 hours watching films. And one of the I think one of the B features was later on after it came out was Murder on the Orient Express, the original one with Albert Finney. And then another film after that, and I can't remember what the other film, it may have been Star Wars or something like that, I don't know. Anyway, so it sort of reminded me like that because it was Murder on the Orient Express, and also the fact we've got this sort of train flying through space was very reminiscent of things like Enlightenment and other, the Titanic episode where sort of things have been turned into other things that are now space things. But on the whole, I thought it was quite a gripping story, and it was very creepy. The actual mummy itself was incredibly good. It was a bit of a mystery as well as to why that they were sort of singling out these people, and I quite liked the fact how the Doctor worked it out and what the Doctor did to save the day, and I thought it was quite good. I'm sorry, Debbie. Okay, I liked it.
It's okay.
What did you think of it?
Master, I am older than you. I'm the oldest person on the podcast.
Poor Clara. Oh, Jenna. She'll never come on the show. Nobody likes her apart from me. Anyway, carry on.
Master.
No, it's Debbie's turn. Thank you, Kirby.
No, I was just pointing out I'm the oldest person on the show.
Yeah, I was ignoring it because it's not a it's not a
and
competition.
Also, I used to go to not only
just let
double
it be his
feature.
turn, Adam, for God's sake.
Look, Kirby, there's no point mentioning about you being the oldest person on the show because that's never going to change.
I also, in the 70s, would not only go to double features, I'd go to drive-ins for the double features, and those double features happen to be science fiction double features.
Science fiction.
Okay, Debbie. It's still Debbie's turn.
Yes, it's still Debbie's turn.
Oh, hurrah. Okay. Yeah, I enjoyed this better than last time. There you go, Adam. And I still think the mummy is outrageously cool. That is one of the best monsters. Obviously, Isla didn't watch this one with me.
Aw.
She's quite... it's odd. She's got a fear of puppets, but it kind of goes over to costume.
A puppet!
Yeah, it goes over to costuming as well, and it's like, oh. And are you my mummy? As soon as you say that as a quote, she runs out and down the road and off on the ferry. You know, she's terrified. So yeah, it was good to watch it again, definitely, because I wasn't sure if I'd ever really return to this as a series because I didn't enjoy it at all. This is when a lot of people zoned out of Doctor Who, unfortunately.
Yes.
You know, people I used to talk to a lot about Doctor Who just went, no, I'm not watching it anymore from about here, and that was hard. That was very hard. But yeah, I don't like how grumpy our Doctor has been written for this episode, especially. And I don't not like having Clara, but Clara's basically being quite flippant about being with the Doctor through this one. And it's like he could show her all of time and space, and she's basically just moaning to Danny about it. It's like, well, if you're feeling that ungrateful, get off the pot, you know. It's just, you know. But obviously the chat at the end and on the beach, and so she decides she wants to travel with him some more. And I know we've got some cracking adventures coming up for these two. Next week's episode was one of the best of this season, so I'm looking forward to that. But I just find I know it's an odd thing to notice. It's like when Peter Capaldi and Frank Skinner are having their talk in Frank Skinner's character's car on the train. And I don't know if they're actually stopped them, but it definitely just looks like they've just gone down the shed in the garden. And it doesn't have a train vibe. It has we're down the bottom of the garden in the shed throughout that whole chat. The lighting and everything, and it's like,
Yeah.
it does not look like a train. But yeah, it's just odd little things that I was picking up on this time. And the music, again, outstanding. Fox's version of Don't Stop Me Now grew on me, definitely, I must say, because I didn't appreciate it last time. I'm a Queen purist,
Really?
you know. Well, I'm a Queen purist, aren't I, you know?
Okay.
But, yeah, just, it's a good story. It's a solid Doctor Who episode, but I just feel that Clara seems so ungrateful through this, and the Doctor just feels really flippant, and I just, yeah, it just tarnishes the episode for me, the way that we've been building up to this, and I know what's coming as well, and it's like, this isn't the way to garner sympathy towards your characters if you're going to just write them so they become a bit distasteful to the general fandom, which is what happened with the failing, obviously, with Seven, because they wrote him, obviously, that he'd regenerated and come out a bit grumpy, you know, and that was that. Everyone was like, oh no, we can't deal with that, and here they are trying Grumpy Doctor again, and it's just not working. So, you know, he's allowed to be stroppy and all that, but permanently grumpy as he has been for the last half a season, you just want.
He's not been permanently grumpy. He wasn't grumpy in Robot to Sherwood.
You know, the writing with Nardole and Bill, obviously, apart from a certain episode we won't mention, that is brilliant. That is just brilliant. But I just feel like they're almost treading water at the moment, building up to what's coming. But they're kind of locked in this. This is how the Doctor's going to be for a while. And he's supposed to be, he's a variable. He always has been, you know, he's the Doctor. So I've whittled on long enough, making up for me not being on for quite a lot this year so far. But yeah, solid 2.5 out of 5 for me on that one.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. Kirby?
Asta? Yeah, I absolutely loved watching this last night. I hadn't seen it in years, and I really need to watch it more often because it's one of my all-time favorites. It just has such a great vibe to it. And I love the costumes. I love the settings. I've got very minor quibbles with the layout of the train, but
yeah.
It's a science fiction fantasy TV show.
It's because of Kirby. It's the second time we've watched it through properly, and now we're looking for quibbles.
Yeah, I mean, no, I saw the quibbles, but I'm not quibbling over the quibbles. That makes sense.
Quibbler.
It's just, it's really good, and since I know that the Doctor stops being such a grumpy puss, I can put up with his weirdness of not caring for people and being grumpy. I love the reference to all the past references.
Jelly baby?
Like the jelly babies, the fact that he's dressed sort of like the first Doctor, the Tom Baker voice, the person from Curse of Fenric, all those things. I love the Foxes. Foxes Don't Stop Me Now. Yes, I'm a Queen fan too, but it's just beautiful. And I posted separately a separate
20, yeah, the 20s vibe. I'm all for 20s vibes being added to stuff like Postmodern and Jukebox.
Yeah, and
we adore them, you know.
I linked to her version of this. Apparently, the BBC also put out a version of the song the same day that she did, and hers is just the scenes from the show instead of the BBC added extra bits from other shows, and the BBC also changed the soundtrack slightly. But in the comments of that YouTube video of her, someone said that this is so very British. Fox's is English. It's a cover of a Queen song. It's Doctor Who, and the episode references Agatha Christie. So there you go.
Why, thank you, Kirby.
And also, let's see, Terry Miles has commented on that, saying beautiful song, beautiful singer, and Kirsty came on and said it's just glorious.
Ah, good. Well, can I make a little suggestion on your request for feedback, Kirby? As you've managed to gate crash the Isle of Wight Doctor Who fans page, don't you think it might be a good idea to post that request on there as well?
Okay. Yes, Master.
Yes, I thought that might come up. Talking of feedback requests, Kirby is right ready now, like he always is, because he knows the format of the show so well, to embark on his piece of the show. Away you go, Kirby.
First off, why am I hearing myself?
Don't know.
Lillian says, I'm not going to be able to watch the live feed this week as I have friends coming to town that I'm hanging out with, and then we will be at a Super Bowl party. Say hi to Neil for me.
Tonight, yes. See, it does come round very quickly, Super Bowl. We always mention it. Normally Mary mentions it, doesn't she? We always mention it every single year. It seems to fall. Of course, we record on Sundays, and the Super Bowl's always on Sundays.
I'm going to ignore it because it's stupid football. And Ian Kirk, this is not his feedback.
It's a great sport.
Clara has set her phone to display a stick insect with a top hat when the doctor calls. And he's got a picture of it. And Terry Miles says, I wish the foxes that play in the garden in the field next door sang as good as the foxes does in the story.
We've got foxes.
Well, thanks everyone for your lack of enthusiasm for putting feedback on our show. So thank you very much, he said in a hugely sarcastic way. Yes, sorry about that, Kirby, but I do suggest...
Mr. M, he should be coming on and saying, Clara is hot.
All right, I did it for him. But as I was saying, post it on the Isle of Wight Doctor Who fans page.
I will. Yes.
Spin-off from this.
Yes, your lordship.
Well, just do it and stop moaning. Right then. Did Robert send anything through after giving his excuses in his new book? The Robert Haynes Book of Excuses. It's not anything like the Book of Excuses what Rhys Parton produced. It's definitely a Book of Excuses.
Would you like me to read it?
Yeah, please do.
I'm going to skip his thing about moving in 100 degrees plus Fahrenheit.
Was that the excuse that he used this week? Well, that's the same excuse he used last
Yes. The excuse is...
The excuse is it's 2:00 in the morning. Surely that's a good
He
enough
didn't
excuse.
use that excuse, Debbie.
It's super hot there, and he's looking at renting a house that actually has air conditioning.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Then you'll be saying, the reason I can't come on the show this week is because it's too cold.
Kirby, what's air conditioning?
So the air conditioning is interfering with my sinuses and makes me cough and sneeze all night. That sort of thing. Anyway, Debbie. Sorry, Kirby.
He said, as I watched Mummy on the Orient Express earlier in the season by mistake, series, I didn't watch it again, but I haven't changed my mind. I don't have all that much to say about the Mummy episode. I hate what they're doing with Capaldi's doctor. They're doing their damnedest to make his character so unlikable. Clara's getting bossy, and the romance. Bleh.
Yeah.
Nothing really redeems the episode. I hate what they did with the Clara character, even the times when she goes off at Capaldi's doctor. Way to go to further distance the doctor and minimize his role in the stories. Not good.
Oh, was that it? Oh, well, thank you.
That's it.
Moves on to the next segment of feedback, so that we can sit back and enjoy the Nunny experience.
I know it is.
Well, good afternoon, 20 megabytes. Andy Nunny here, 12:51 on Sunday afternoon. Just finished my late breakfast of fruit and fibre with lemon yoghurt, very nice, and of course a little bit of Chardonnay, just what's left from last night. So.
Just a little bit.
Nice. Anyway, last night's episode, wasn't
Chardonnay.
that good. I mean, I've been reading on Facebook how many people enjoyed it, and it really, I thought it was a very, very good episode. Now, to me, came across almost like a film noir. Tim Drury commented how darkly lit it was, if you can have such a thing as being darkly lit. But I thought that was deliberate, and that worked very, very well. So it gave it almost a feel of like, a 1950s film. It's that sort of thing, isn't it? I mean, I guess everyone must have seen Casablanca, but it's that sort of thing. The mood lighting really helped build the atmosphere because it made it dark, and it made it not depressing, but very heavy. It felt oppressive. That's the word I use. Oppressive, which helped build the mood of the piece completely. So I thought that worked really, really well. Now, not quite sure what the computer was trying to achieve. I think, I watched this about midnight last night after I got back from the theatre. I always do these having watched it once. You got instant reactions, so I need to watch it again. But I thought the bit of the mummy, and you can understand how it's been taken out of phase when the Doctor works it out. That was very clever, because actually, having an alien that only one person can see, and that person's got 66 seconds to go, was very effective, because the reactions of the other people make it work, because they can't see it. They think this person's flipped, but it's only as you get into the second, third, fourth that people start to realise. I mean, the captain's comment, how long did it take? It took 3 before he actually would do something about it. And then with him, and then he's got it coming towards him, and at least he's there to describe it. Though he knows he's going to die, he's got enough about him to do it. I thought the way they finished it off with the zombie, the mummy, beg your pardon, being a soldier and going off, you're off duty, dismissed. I thought it was very, very clever. I didn't see that coming, so I thought that was a very good piece. I mean, the whole story itself, the setting, setting it on the Orient Express, very good, because that's clever. Because that's something that we can relate to now. I mean, people have already talked about, it's like the Titanic episode, isn't it, that we had? It's that sort of thing. Frank Skinner, no, it wasn't stunt casting. He did play it very well, didn't he? Obviously a fan who wanted to be in Doctor Who, and it turns out he's actually looking into this himself, and he knows something up as well, the way he introduced himself to the Doctor. I thought that really was good. Now, I talk about the lighting when you have the amazing Clara, because what you've got, they've got the bright red lipstick, and that's something that does work in film noir, where you have black, but you have a very vivid colour, it's almost scarlet, and by golly, was she showing some cleavage or what? I mean, she looked very nice indeed.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just think this is an absolutely delightful story. It worked very well with the having the people. Some of the people are actually just holograms, and then suddenly in a lab itself, and they've got to try and think it through. So again, I mean, this is a constant theme, and I've talked about it before. It's a mental Doctor, isn't it? Because he's not a man of physical action; he's a man of mental action, and he will use his brain to get us out of it. And that's what a lot of these episodes have been about. They've been about how does a Doctor think his way out of a problem, and that's what you saw here. And of course we have the Danny Pink story that's moving on again. It's there was a lot of talk. Would this be the last time we saw Clara? Would she go off with go with Danny now? Again, she's the first part-time companion. She comes and goes. She is possibly the first Doctor who is a companion, but on her terms, which is, I will come with you if you ask me, but I might decide I don't want to come with you. But I'm not, I'm not moving into the TARDIS full time. So I think it's a very good relationship. It's a very good dynamic. Thank you. That's the word. I'm going good today. I think so many good words coming out there. But all in all, I think this is a cracking good episode. You had some great bits. You had throwback to the Are You My Mummy? You had got the cigarette case out with jelly babies inside it. Very good. Doctor's outfit. Some people said that reminded them of John Pertwee from Inferno. So you had a lot of throwbacks to past Doctors. Showing he is the summation of other people. He's not just one man by himself. So whether it was anything that really didn't work about it, I really can't think of anything. It worked well on many levels. I think that the later time slot is helping a lot. I mean, I don't know what time our Australian or American friends are seeing it, but hopefully at 8:30 means they can do a darker story, and they can put more. They can go deeper, because it's not aimed at children, it's aimed at families now, but the older family as well. So I think that really does work. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Really good episode. One of the best this season. I don't know. I still think this is possibly one of the best, and the Caretaker. But certainly better than last week. So I did enjoy last week. But, so there you go. So anyway, be seeing you.
Thank you, Andy. That's Andy Nunney.
Master. Either you played a 10-year-old recording there, or he re-recorded from the same script, or he just sent in what he sent in 10 years ago, because that was pretty much identical to what I heard a few hours ago when listening to 10 years ago.
Oh, well, thank you for that, Kirby.
Did you play that?
No, Kirby, it was a new recording because he was at the theatre last night till midnight.
Yes, anyway.
He was looking after the Pride and Prejudice cast in Guildford.
Right, steady on, Odie.
Oh, but he also said exactly the same thing 10 years ago. He was at the theatre at midnight.
Oh, okay.
That's
not just a coincidence. That's freaky deaky.
So anyway, Debbie, yes, you've got.
I have indeed.
Yes.
Once again in this universe, you can hear sounds out in the vacuum of space. This one is going to be Clara's last trip. People dying in a strange way, just the thing for the Doctor. Love the way the Doctor and Perkins introduce themselves to each other. Perkins, Chief Engineer. The Doctor, Nosy Parker. Mrs. Pitt, Janet Henfrey, was killed by their Hemavore girls in Curse of Fenric.
Yes.
We've seen that Professor Morehouse before as Hugh in The King's Demons. This saloon car is all a holodeck, but is the laboratory also a holodeck? Oh dear, he had to say it, didn't he? Hello, I'm so pleased to finally see you. I'm the Doctor and I will be your victim this evening. Are you my mummy? A few other quotes we liked. Shut up and give me some planets. I could do with an extra pillow and I'm very disappointed with your breakfast bar and all the dying. Can we get a new expert? Again with the soldier thing. What is it that Stephen Moffat has against soldiers? Why, oh why didn't Perkins join the Doctor? Frank Skinner would have made a great companion with all his one-liners and asides. We enjoyed this one. Could have been a little bit longer. Maybe another death, as it was wound up a bit too quickly. Next up, 2D World. No, sorry, Flatline. Linda and Terry.
By the same author as this one.
Thank you, Matt. You got that. Here we go. Good boy. Sorry.
Well, I don't like this one so much. I love next week's one. It's weird.
I actually like this one better than next week's, but we'll talk about that next week.
Exactly.
Right then, Ian Kirk says on the live feed, it is not Maisie's mummy. She is her grandmother, but makes her call her mother. We talked about that earlier.
I said that.
Okay.
Well, we obviously didn't because he corrected us.
But I did. Go back and listen to it.
No.
Excellent stuff. Do you remember back in the day we used to have a listener called Alan Butcher who used to come to FancyCon and everything, and he used to give these excellent bits of feedback.
He's a busy gentleman.
And now he's just like all of our co-presenters. He can't be bothered. But somebody
I did contact him about 6 months ago, and he said he tried.
Hello, 20 Megabyte Podcast. This is Ian Kirk.
Hello, Ian.
Is it?
Hello, Ian.
Mummy on the Orient Express by Jamie Matheson. On the bright side, I'm sure you've all collected a lot of data. Writer Jamie Matheson used to be a comedian, so it might have been his idea to invite comedian Frank Skinner to appear in this story. He also wrote a 2009 film called Frequently Asked Questions About Time Travel, which I have on DVD,
I love that film.
and I recommend it. He wrote next week's story, Flatline, and later, The Girl Who Dies, which introduces the Viking girl, Ashula. Clara is saying this is her last trip, while the band plays Don't Stop Me Now. This is only a replica steam train. It is pulled by a tank engine. Those have limited range, because the locomotive has no tender and carries its own coal and water, so it is not suited for an express train. Most of the extras have no lines, even though they are on a train. Last week, Clara was railing against the Doctor's attitude, but this week she is on board with it and seems well trained.
Oh, God. Ding, ding.
The 12th Doctor gets to ask, "Are you my mummy?" At the end, Perkins, the engineer, refuses to join the TARDIS team because he has ideas above his station.
Odie, stop licking your penis.
No one goes to the Promised Land this time. Missy, what was the Southampton score?
That'll be
Southampton
5-3.
beat Huddersfield Town 5-3 yesterday.
Yes,
Bye for now.
more or less what I said. Thank you,
Master,
Ian.
Master. A couple of things there. First of all, Jamie Matheson is interviewed in the making of video that they put out with this, and he said that when he found out that Frank Skinner was going to be in this, he added jokes, but he did not invite Frank Skinner. Also, I agree with Ian. Frequently asked questions about time travel is wonderful, and it stars Chris O'Dowd from the IT crowd.
Oh, yes. Okay, well, thank you very much. Right then, so because Kirby made me forget it last week, we're going to do Doctor Who news.
Yeah, I deliberately made you forget it.
I think we've done everything, haven't we? And no, it wasn't provided. I wasn't provided me with the correct answer. Right, I nearly clicked on Do Not Consent. Doctor Who news this week. I'm going to go back a bit now because
is that whowhen.co.uk?
What, Doctor Who news?
I just had to say it because I didn't say it last time.
No, don't have to. Right. Doctor Who magazine has reached issue 600. We're not that far off 600 ourselves. So soon we'll be overtaking Doctor Who magazine in the amount of free content. Of course, Doctor Who magazine isn't free, but we do free content. And in a few weeks' time. Anyway, right, so Doctor Who magazine marks its 600th issue this month with a celebratory issue, which includes a 16-page supplement, an exclusive art card, a specially commissioned diorama featuring figures from the recent series, and a 4-hour-long Sixth Doctor audio drama for every reader.
Ooh!
I think I might have to purchase that from whowon.co.uk, which is a good place to get the Doctor Who magazine if you can't get it at your local retailer. Doctor Who magazine issue 600 is on sale on the 1st of February. That means it's on sale from Panini and W.H. Smith, price $10.99. Also available at digital. Also available is a digital edition from PocketMags.com, plus $9.99. It's worth getting just to have the audio drama, I would imagine, everybody. So I might have to source that from somewhere.
I'm going to have to find this one.
I will say, of course, anybody looking forward to our 600th episode, there won't be any audio dramas or any such thing coming with it. You'll be very lucky to get me for free on the episode. There we go. The other bit of news, sad news, a friend of FantasyCon and Doctor Who legend Michael Jaston has passed away at the age of 88. Oh, yeah. Very good friend of Tom Melrose, I believe, who spent a considerable amount of time nipping out for cigarettes with him at FantasyCon. So Michael, what a character, isn't he? I mean, I did post the video of his interview with Paul Wilson at FantasyCon. On
that was
both.
Brilliant.
That was a shocker when you posted that. I first saw it on our page before I saw it everywhere else.
I saw it on one of the Doctor Who news forums on Facebook, and I was like, what?
Yeah, he had actually announced an appearance at a Only Fools and Horses convention over the water. So he was going to be. He was on his way to, not today obviously, but he was lined up to be. So he's still planning to do things basically. So like you say, it was a bit of a shocker. But anyway, I'll read a bit of the blurb. Actor Michael Jaston has died at the age of 88. Michael Jaston is best known to Doctor Who fans for playing the Valeyard in, wasn't it Brickyard or Knackers Yard? No, it's Valeyard, isn't it? In all 14 episodes of the 23rd season of The Trial of a Time Lord, the script describes the character as an amalgamation of the Doctor's darker sides between his 12th and final incarnations. So that's a long way, because he's not going to have a final incarnation for a while. What's his name again? Chris Chibnall. Jaston played the character opposite the Sixth Doctor, as played by Colin Baker in the series that aired in the autumn of 1986. He later recreated the character for many Big Finish audios. Colin Baker today paid tribute to his old colleague. My dear, dear friend Michael Jaston has left us today. I am absolutely devastated. He was warm, witty, clever, naughty, and had a very fine actor and wonderful man. My thoughts and love go to his wife Anne and daughter Katie. Heartbroken. Goodbye, my friend. Michael Jaston was born in the town of West Bridgeford in the English Midlands. He trained as an accountant before switching careers and enrolling in the Guildhall School of Music and Drama. One of his best-known movie appearances was as Tsar Nicholas II in the film Nicholas and Alexander, the film that
Yes.
featured an unknown Tom Baker as the monk Rasputin, the role that helped Baker to win the role of the Doctor. Remember that film? It was quite good, actually. It's very harrowing
Yes, it
as
is
well.
good.
He was a familiar face on television throughout the for the last 60 years. Sorry, I read that wrong. Last 60 years. His first appearance was in 1962 in the series Suspense. By 1970, he was taking leading roles, playing Macbeth alongside Barbara Lee Hunt. He played Mr. Rochester in the 1973 version of Jane Eyre and Peter Gwilym in the acclaimed 1979 version of the spy novel Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. In 1975, he headed the cast of a detective series playing the title character Gwilla. He has appeared in a number of long-running series including Coronation Street, EastEnders, Only Fools and Horses, The Bill, Heartbeat, Casualty and Midsummer Murders. I think every British actress appeared in Midsummer Murders, actually. I wonder, I have to see if Leela's appeared in it. Michael Jason's death was announced earlier today. A statement on behalf of his family said, Michael Jason sadly passed away this morning after a short illness. Those who knew Michael will know he was full of love, laughs and happiness. He adored meeting his fans all over the world. Now, our memories of Michael at FanTCCon were... he did get up for a lot of cigarette breaks, which had an ongoing effect of annoying Debbie.
Yeah.
The other thing
Not
was,
me.
which was his agent's fault. He turned up at the event without anything to sign because apparently his agent, without telling me, had emailed me some pictures to print off for him to sign. This I had to do for the first 2 hours of the event. And,
Yes.
and he kept on growling about his agent for the whole thing, blaming him, which I suppose is good. He didn't blame me. But yeah, he was, like it says about him being fun. Reese, who worked for FantasyCon 3, he was one of the people that bought photo ops at the event, and I was a photographer at my own event, and he was quite happy to pander to Reese's, not quite happy about the angle of his one part of his costume, and he wanted sort of Michael to do this sort of evil look into his eyes and stuff like that.
Yes,
So he
yeah.
had to reshoot the shot that at any other convention would not happen without having to pay for it. But he was so sort of happy to go along with that. I took a couple of test shots, and I'm particularly pleased with one of the test shots where he looks like he's slightly scared and sort of alarmed about something, which I think sort of sums up his sort of quite fun personality he had. And what did Tom make of him, Debbie?
Oh, I loved him. Tom was quite surprised about how often he did want to go out for the fags, because even though Tom is a smoker, it was a bit much. But he was a true gent, and he regaled Tom with stories and listened to Tom as well. Tom's got loads of stories about being at sea for years and things like that, and they seem to get on like a house fire.
I can see why Colin
Good
Baker
bit,
loves him so
yeah.
much, because he's a massive cricket fan. He was banging on about cricket for all the time I was chatting to him. I did an interview for him.
He was such a gent, and he came over to talk to me a few times when Tom had told him, Deb's quite a fan. So he turned on the charm every time he went past the 20 megabyte table. It was like, hello, Debbie, every time.
Well, anybody would do that,
Yes,
Deb.
hello, Valliard.
Yeah.
Curtsy.
And of course, there's that sad story, Debbie, isn't it, about your signed photo, which got.
You've still got, yeah.
You still got it, even though it's a bit sort of
Yeah.
rain damaged.
Yes, couldn't believe
I'm glad
that.
you still got that. But I have got another one here for you that doesn't say Debbie.
I know, I've still got FantasyCon t-shirts sat right there on a shelf,
Oh.
looking at me going, you're supposed to give them back.
well, hopefully you might decide to do another one day.
Well, this year's going to
Oh, there we go. There's the you can't get out of it now moment, right? Anyway.
Because I've already got a t-shirt.
But yeah, so obviously he was left with loads of pictures at the end of the event and signed as many as he could, and I still got them filed in an envelope somewhere. I'd like to find them. I know they're in here somewhere because I keep sort of occasionally coming across them and there's those Michael Jason pictures. Unfortunately, those sort of pens that these artists sign the ink, if it's one of those shiny metallic things, the ink doesn't stay on them if they're in the pile. It just gets removed and stuff. But never mind, it is what it is, isn't it? What else can we say about Michael Jaston? Kirby, I know you met him on a number of occasions. What did you think?
No, I've never met him.
Oh, I know, I'm being facetious. Oh, is that it? Have you not got anything to say about Michael? No?
Me?
What did you think of him as the Valeyard?
I thought he was great as the Valeyard, the boatyard or whatever.
Yes, sagacity.
Yes, sagacity. Yeah, that's good. They did bounce off each other quite brilliantly, didn't they? And that throughout the whole of Trial of the Time Lord, it was a joy to watch those court scenes and them two sort of sniping at each other. I think in some ways that's what made the Trial of the Time Lord the Valeyard scenes. And of course he had his big episodes at the end, didn't he, when he was pretending to be other people and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's a sad loss for Doctor Who and a sad loss for us as FantasyCon organisers. But we're so pleased we had the opportunity to have him on the Isle of Wight. Right, so also if you want to...
I'm still hoping that we will eventually have the Valeyard show up in canon again.
Well, not played by Michael, unfortunately.
I know, but...
Yeah. And his voice was phenomenal. That voice. Very fun. The other thing, if anybody wants to listen to... There's a couple of interviews with Michael Jaston that is attached to the convention and to the 20 Megabyte podcast. The video interview with Paul Wilson is available on our YouTube channel, and also I did post it on the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast Facebook group you can join, and the Isle of Wight Doctor Who fans page. There's also the interview I did with him, which is on the FantasyCon 2 episode of this show. Kirby will now spend the last half an hour, it won't be half an hour, the next few minutes trying to find out which episode was FantasyCon 2, just to keep him quiet for a bit, so we move on to the next
I can tell you that. Just give me a second here.
Well, I think it's going to take longer than a second, isn't it? There we go. I proved my point. It did take longer than a second.
Which FantasyCon? What year?
FantasyCon 2, 2022.
That would be number 545.
545, the Michael Jaston interview, as done by myself. In fact, I'd like to listen to that.
Let me see if I said that in there. Yes, I did. I have Gareth David Lloyd, Simon Fisher-Becker, Joseph Milson, Clem So, Michael Jaston, Carla
Mendonça, yes, Mendonça.
Yeah, Aaron Danvers Jukes, and Clive Mantle. And those are all listed in the episode listing.
Thank you, Kirby. Right, that concludes that part.
I'm obsessive over lists, in case you hadn't noticed.
You what?
I'm obsessive over lists.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for that.
It's part of being on the spectrum.
Okay, that's fine. You're quite welcome to be on the spectrum. Unfortunately, for people who are not on the... I know what the bloody spectrum... Unfortunately for people who are not on the spectrum, if you're on the spectrum, you're most likely to be quite talented with some capacity. And that means that, Kirby, you are obviously talented somewhere along the line, aren't you?
Somewhere along the line. So flattering. Damned with faint praise.
Yes, we can't all be talented, can we? Right, so we're going to do a thing that we do on this show quite regularly, and I have mentioned who1.co.uk, and I will mention Lavazi because we mentioned earlier on, didn't we, a few weeks ago, that Sylvester McCoy is coming to FantasyCon, and
Yay.
I am promoting buying the iconic ? Pullovers, which are now new Who canon, because obviously Sylvester wore it in Jodie's last episode, and so did Jodie, in fact. So get that ? Jumper. I'd get it myself. I've had 2 of them, but I keep wearing them out, so I'm thinking, well, there's no point in buying another one unless I buy one and get Sylvester to sign it and then frame it. That might be an option.
That'd be a good idea. That way you'd get to keep it.
Yeah, but where would I hang it? Because I've got a Matthew Letitia thing here, which I've got nowhere to... My walls are full of cracks and stuff. Yeah, what was I talking about? I've lost the plot. I was talking about Sylvester McCoy. Any news about FancyCon? Well, we've got a couple of people. We'll speak about one person, Kirby. You're an expert on Star Trek, aren't you?
I love
Not
Star
an
Trek.
expert, no.
Right.
I
Shall we
love
go
Star
back and
Trek, that's
take
what I
two? We'll take two. Okay, right then. Kirby, you're an expert on Star Trek, aren't you?
As you wish.
No. That's not how it works. Right. Take three. Kirby, you're an expert on Star Trek, aren't you?
Sure.
Hey, that's better. Got there in the end. So what we're going to talk about is a series of Star Trek, which is very close to my heart. It's called Star Trek: The Next Generation. It featured an actor
that one I
called
know.
Patrick Stewart.
Oh, we've got him. Cool.
Very funny. No, we haven't got Patrick Stewart, although I'd love to be in this situation, but I don't think he'd come anyway, not unless we did it in Yorkshire or something like that. I think he'd probably turn up to a convention in Yorkshire, so he could revisit family and stuff. Well, I'm trying to find the episode title because I'm seeing if I want to test Kirby's knowledge to see if he actually remembers it. All right. Do you remember an episode called Up the Long Ladder? It's a Star Trek episode.
I remember the title.
Okay. Well, then on Up the Long Ladder, as far as I can remember rightly, the Enterprise crew rescue an Irish sort of what do you call it? Settlers, Irish settlers from a planet.
Oh yes, I remember that one.
And there's this extremely beautiful woman that number one, as in played by Jonathan Frakes.
You mean Riker?
Yeah, gets the hots for.
Oh, he gets
and he describes her as woman, basically.
He's the President Kirk of this one.
Yeah. And there's an actor, that's the actress that plays this character.
Rosalind Landor.
What? Rosalind
Landor?
Yes. She's coming, well, yes, she's actually said yes. So she's coming to FancyCon 4. I was quite keen, one, to get her because from judging by the pictures, she's still quite nice looking. And two, she was in a series called Cat's Eyes. Cool. She's in loads of stuff. Not much anymore. She does more voice work for game franchises and stuff, which is quite good if you're interested in game franchises, because Craig Fairbrass was also a voice actor for games and stuff and whatnot.
Yes, she's a voice actor for some of my favourite games, like she does Dirge of Cerberus, which is one of my favourite Final Fantasy games. Yeah. Ooh, that's.
But the other thing you can say about her, she in the Up the Long Ladder, she plays a character that is supposed to sort of ooze with a charisma and this sort of attraction that men can't resist. She does that so well in that episode. I remember before then being in Cat's Eyes, and she's got this very deep sort of voice. And Cat's Eyes was made in Southampton actually, when it was on telly and stuff. So she was in that first. So she's a face.
Adam, she was the kid in The Amazing Mr. Blunden.
I know, but she's got a very sort of, for me personally, a very memorable face. So, as a Star Trek fan, as soon as I saw her face, I recognised her. I just felt that she may have been in more episodes, but no, she was only in the one. But the fact she's been in Star Trek, she was a main character in the episode that she was in. She can talk about what it's like to work with Gene Roddenberry, for goodness sake, because it was series 2 or series 1. Yeah, series 2, wasn't it? And having worked with Jonathan Frakes, Patrick Stewart, LeVar Burton, all the cast of Next Gen, when obviously it was a very successful reboot of Star Trek. So we finally have a Star Trek actor who has done some other good stuff as well. So Rosalind Landor is coming to FancyCon 4.
Cool. She was
Sorry to disappoint everyone.
Master.
Yes.
She was in 4 episodes of Rumpole. And she was also in the Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes in the Speckled Band.
Oh,
Thank
cool.
you for that. But that's
which I walked into the sunroom a couple of weeks ago, and my wife was watching that particular episode.
Well, blimey, what a coinky-dink.
Well,
okay.
Jeremy Brett, I know that Cumberbatch is an excellent Sherlock, but
Jeremy Brett is the best
one. Yes.
Yeah, Jeremy Brett is brilliant. He's my favourite Sherlock.
On the live feed, Lillian Robbins says, hi. Oh, just saying hi, where's Neil? Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell you where
tried
Neil
to
is,
find him,
Lillian.
didn't we?
As you couldn't be bothered to be on the show, and now you are, Neil didn't bother coming on either. And then she says, see you next week. Oh, okay, bye then. Okay, what we watched this week, everyone. We should have a theme tune for this segment of the show, shouldn't we?
Yeah, well, come up with one.
Pardon?
Come up with one.
I'll get Ben back on the show. He'll do one for us. Right, so what I watched this week was mainly bloody Love Island. Unfortunately, I just watch it to get annoyed and sort of just cringe. It's not very good, but unfortunately, sometimes we watch stuff that's not very good.
I'm very proud to say I've never seen an episode of it.
Good girl. The Great British Archaeology Off. What's it called with Dr. Alice Roberts? The Great British. Pardon?
Digging for
Yeah,
Britain.
I've been watching that. It's fab. The finds
I
they've
love
got in
that,
this series
yeah.
are ridiculous. They found this little round Roman, almost like a fidget spinner thing.
Oh, wasn't that gorgeous?
Oh my god! I mean,
Yeah.
there've been some amazing finds in this series so far. I've only watched 5 episodes, but it's just been absolutely beautiful to watch. Finished watching Australian Lego Masters, which again, fantastic show. If you don't like Lego, you might not like it, but it's just really, really good. And I've just started watching New Zealand Lego Masters, and the new series of New Zealand Lego Masters is going out on Channel 4 and E4, I think.
Is
this
there
week.
a difference between the various series of Lego Masters, or they
The format
just
is very
accents?
similar.
They have different accents.
Oh god, the only thing I know about the New Zealand one, their accent is, or accent, I suppose they'd probably say, their accent is bloody annoying. The way they pronounce words. I mean,
Kirsty might hear.
I don't care.
I
Is she?
like the Kiwi accent.
Yeah, I think she'd probably say that annoying as well. It's like
No, she wouldn't.
A's become E's and E's become. Oh god, it's all over the place. If you went to say you went into New Zealand or somewhere like that and went into McDonald's and I say, I'd like some chicken. Can I have some chicken McNuggets, please? And they say, how many do you want? And I say, I want sex, please. You know, because they can't say 6, it becomes sex. You know what I mean? It's just, oh god. Anyway, but you have to get used to the annoying accent and enjoy the talent of the Lego builders
Kiwi
within it.
accent.
The
The Kiwi accent is very different to the Australian accent.
Australian, that's right. Well, this
Yes, you've got Australia, but then you've got the Kiwi accent.
the
It's more
Kiwi
tight on the
accent.
vowels,
It's almost as
yeah.
annoying as the South, the South African accent. That's a
Oh, I
bloody
love
annoying
the South African accent.
South African.
Some of my friends are from South Africa, and it's great when they just
But
get
it's
arguing
not
with
the
each
most,
other.
neither of them the most annoying accents of all, because I know that nobody from Liverpool would listen to this show, that the Scouse accent, always feel that if I talk to somebody who's Scouse, I have to put my hand over my glasses to make sure that because they go all the time and just get covered in phlegm or whatnot, they spit out while they're talking. Anyway, so back to Lego Masters. Yeah, so Kirby, the format of the American Lego Masters, the Australian one and the New Zealand one is very similar. The American one's got a slight more sort of degree of exuberance and extra sort of theatre about it. Bear in mind the bloke who presents it is also the voice of the Lego Batman in the Lego movies. But what it has that favours it personally above all the other versions of it, they have Amy Crosby, who's a Lego engineer who's actually Scottish, and she's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Yeah, she's gorgeous. And it's just watch it just to see her being gorgeous. The Australian one doesn't have any nice looking judges on it, but they do have a chap called Brickman who cries every time somebody gets kicked off the show, and he actually is the one that's kicking them off the show. He sort of chooses which one gets
But
voted
he
out
cries every time.
Yeah, he loves Lego and he loves the efforts that people put into it. He gets emotional. He's very passionate. He's a professional. It's his job to do Lego. But yeah, that's the sort of thing. I haven't quite gauged what the New Zealand one has yet, whether it's better or worse. But what I will say about the Australian one is they go out of studio to really test the builders to do sort of things in the open air and stuff, which is quite good. But and I haven't watched the British one yet because from what I've seen of the the little screenshots you get, it seems a bit sort of childish. But I will eventually watch it. Right, so Lego Masters,
looks
obviously.
like I can watch the American version on Hulu and Tubi. I can watch the British version on Tubi. I can watch the Australian version on Tubi.
Yeah, watch them. They're great. Really entertaining shows. Doesn't sound like it will be. They are very entertaining. Makes you want to build Lego. But I will warn you. The other thing is BritBox is closing down, so apparently April has been given the end of date for BritBox. So anybody who has that, I personally
What are
don't
you
have
talking
it, but
about?
I know it's a really good service, but it's being closed down. What am I talking about?
Explain.
BritBox
I'm a
is
BritBox.
quite clearly says what it is. It is what it is on the tin. ITV have announced that the BritBox service is being shut down and will end in April. You might want to Google that, but it did come up somewhere on Facebook. So that's being shut down. That's not what I watched this week. I just remembered it because I meant to mention it earlier on. What else have I been watching? Some of the crime stuff on Discovery Plus. It's the one where it's a bit like CCTV, murder on CCTV, but
I'm not losing my BritBox. It's
Okay.
just UK.
Oh, well, that's all right then, isn't it? Traitor's finished, isn't it? So I talked about that last week, but we haven't started watching the Australian one yet. That's coming up soon.
Isn't that one the Traders instead of Traders?
Yeah, Traders. Yeah, it's Traders, because Australians can't speak properly either.
Traders.
Yeah. What else have we been watching? Oh, Masked Singer. The cut's coming to an end soon. That was quite good. I haven't seen anything at the cinema this week. We're meant to go, but just run out of time on Saturday it was yesterday, to indulge in a film we actually wanted to go and watch. And if I think of anything else I've watched this week really sort of jumps to the surface, I'll butt in on someone else's conversation.
Of course you will.
I will.
Yeah.
Debbie, what have you been watching this week? Debbie.
Me, mostly, I'm avidly waiting for every new episode of The Great British Menu because it comes out on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
That's
and
not
this
one of
year
mine.
they're doing a feast in Paris for the Olympics. And so everything has to be, all the meals and servings have to be Olympic themed. And every year I look forward to this. I just think it's addictive watching them. You know, these professional chefs at the top of their game from each area of England, competing with each other. And the quality and the techniques and things, I love cooking shows. I'm a big fan of it. I go round to see my friend Julie on a Sunday morning and we watch Saturday Kitchen Best Bites. It's quite a tradition. And all we're doing is watching cooking shows and criticising them. I like doing that. But yeah, I've been watching Digging for Britain as well. Absolutely loved that. Can't fault that programme. The history is just brilliant. Can't get
the only thing I get from it, Debbie, now you're talking about it, is that they've obviously bought themselves a new drone, because all we get is Alice Roberts gushing about, quite rightly so, about some of the digs that are going on in the series, but lots and lots of shots of her walking along sort of coastal paths.
It looks like the Ridgeway
in the sunshine.
Most of the time, yes.
And sort of, where are you walking, Alice? Careful, there's a cliff there. Oh my goodness, But anyway, carry on.
Okay, I've also found on iPlayer a Amityville and origin story, which is basically shedding new light on the Amityville horror.
The fact that it's entirely made up.
Yeah, and just the different perspectives of people who were there at the time, who investigated, all that. I love that. I love
the original murder where that guy killed his family did occur, but the whole other stuff is completely made up.
Yeah, the Defoe murders were definitely right. But yeah, I love, say, Uncanny as well. I'm so interested in ghost stories. I have my own ghost stories. I am a believer, but I'm also very firmly in the skeptic camp. I'm in the camp. I'm very, very firmly in the skeptic camp as well. And he said it again. I love investigative documentaries, especially when they're about the weird and wonderful. Absolutely love those. Also been watching Inside the Factory again, because I love when a new series of that turns up. where you get to see things being made. I quite like the bath bomb one. That was great at the Lush things. I've also found a couple of new murder documentaries on Netflix just to keep me busy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been quite a good few of them. I tried an episode of Ancient Apocalypse, but I did not enjoy him.
Yeah,
because
I
you've been
did
talking
watch it.
about it, and I was like, no, I don't like conspiracy theories, things like
you
that.
put me
So
off.
I
I have
thought it
watched
was
it, and it is intriguing, but you've put me off it by being
Yeah, and then I've caught up with The Crown, and I've also been through a program called MH370, the plane that disappeared, and that is really, really interesting. That's on Netflix. That is, I'm only on episode 2, and it's harrowing, but absolutely fascinating. So
I enjoy watching a series called Aircraft Investigator, and apparently series 22 has been out, and I haven't watched it yet, so that might be on Disney Plus if you can't find it on your usual.
Oh, and also I've watched 1899 again this week because I love that. I think that was wonderful.
The murder thing. That murder thing I've been telling you about, you know, the Victorian Murders program. That's quite good. That's on telly at the moment. I talk about it every week, but have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that one yet, but I have got it on my to watch.
Yeah, good. Watch it. It's good.
Yeah, no, I've been watching 1899 again. That was just brilliant sci-fi. I loved that. Yeah. And it's a shame they didn't get another series because that would have gone on to weird and wonderful things in space, and would have liked that. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, good. I'm just loading up RTVX because there was something else I watched.
Various podcasts and things as well.
You watch podcasts?
No, I listen to podcasts though, but you know, I've not slept very well. I've been up till 7 o'clock most nights the last month.
7 o'clock?
In the morning, yeah.
What, up all night?
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, melatonin is not working. Stuff's up, so yeah, it's been a long month. Hence why we've been ill a lot and not on and things like that.
My sympathies. I'm just seeing if I can find.
But we'll get her sorted. She's got lots of appointments coming up and assessments, so we'll find out what's going on.
Yeah. And
hopefully get her to have some sleep, which would be nice because I can have some then too.
I can't find what I've been watching on ITVX. That's annoying. Oh, okay. Kirby, well, I'll get you on while I research what I thought.
Looking for more bits you've watched.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Geek Daughter and I were unable to get together on our standard Friday night. How we were planning on watching the second Black Panther movie, but we'll try it this coming Friday instead, which I think she's seen and I have not. In the meantime, I actually started to watch something. I just haven't been able to finish it yet, although I've seen it before. I'm wanting to catch up with the latest Spider-Man movies. So I started watching last night Spider-Man Homecoming and watched a little bit of it before we started recording today, and I will finish it when we are done.
Have you watched the animated ones yet, Kirby?
Oh, the first of the animated ones. I don't know if the second one is available.
I haven't seen the second one. The first one's excellent.
First one is fantastic. Just love it. Debbie.
Yes.
Speaking of paranormal, you know I am a complete and total skeptic.
Yeah.
But I watch several debunking channels on YouTube, and one of them is absolutely fascinating that you may want to look into.
Okay.
He's British. It's called The World of Mr. Grey.
Oh yes, yeah.
Oh, you've seen some of his stuff. He does debunking ghosts and the paranormal with logic. Is a standard feature on his channel, and they're just great. And you know,
I think I've run across the world of Mr. has rung a bell, but I'm looking on YouTube right now, and all I'm getting is bloody Christian Grey stuff.
No, World of, and then Mr. Grey is put together, and it's got an E.
Yep. I shall find it.
And he's really, and you know, I may have started as well. I'd like to believe, but I mean, back in his early days, he was going to some of the greatest of the either the top 10 channels of paranormal stuff, or some of the guy who like had this little poltergeist wandering around that jumped out of his window, you see this little black thing that looks very, very convincing, and he's gone out there and figured out how they did it all.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, I'm all for debunking.
Basically, I'm open to if there could be some proof, but so far, nope.
I've seen weird stuff.
Like,
I've lived in a haunted house. I have a few tales that I will tell another time that cannot be explained, cannot be debunked, things I have seen with my own eyes, but I am also healthily sceptical about it as well.
Okay, I'll put my 10 in, shall I?
Yeah.
I'm sort of not spiritual at all. I love to believe that there's a spiritual element to the world, or that reincarnations happen. I think there's evidence, fairly good evidence, which I think it easily can be wiped out, but of reincarnation, people being regressed and people.
I like the idea that your big birthmarks are where you were killed in a past life, because I have a
nice
huge
thought,
birthmark on my side, on my ribs, and
Yeah.
it's like, what is this? And then someone suggested to me, that's where you were killed in a past life.
Yeah, but I like the romantic idea of that, and I'd love to believe that was the case, and I wouldn't say it's not the case at all, because I think to try and imagine where a consciousness goes, and it doesn't make sense in some to have such a consciousness. But then when you see a person like my mum sort of fading away with dementia, and you're thinking, well, her personality's sort of there, but she's not herself. It's like a shell of her original thing, where she hasn't got memories and she hasn't got any sense, or she's regressing into being a child, or whatever happens. You think, well, what's happened to her consciousness? Because she has not having a memory. It's not having a consciousness, is it? It's just. So I'm not that sort of thing. I'd love to think it actually does happen, because I love the film, for instance, the Audrey Rose film, which is quite scary, but that sort of shows that somebody being regressed into a previous life where they died in a fire and stuff like that. But as far as ghosts and stuff goes, the ghost experience that I know happened, because it was clear as day when I saw it, was when I was walking from, I think it was from this house up round to Deb's house, and walking up past the garages up to near where what's that shop on the corner called? Rashley's. And this dog runs past me, really close to my legs, at full pelt, an orange dog. I thought, bloody hell, was going for it. And he runs up to the corner, straight across the road, just as a car is speeding along. And I thought, I shut my eyes thinking, that dog's gone. And nothing happened. I thought, and I sort of got to the top and he's got to be here somewhere, because he was running so fast, and there's no sign of him. And I got into my in-laws' house, and I sort of said, well, it's really weird, this dog's just run past and run across the road. And they're not into any ghosts or anything, but they said, well, that's just a strange coincidence, because an orange dog went up that post and got hit by a car and died. And I thought, well, I had no idea of that story, but it happened. I saw it. It was like it was really alive, but it didn't make a sound as it went past me. It just ran past me, and that made me think, well, there is something unexplained, because not everything we see, or don't see, doesn't mean to say it doesn't exist. There's things out there that we're unaware of. It's like, obviously, with Hawkins and his dark matter, we can't see it, but clearly it's out there, because he's accounted for it. So, yeah, I mean, I like Kirby. I like to be able to see things. I want to see things that people talk about that exist and may exist in other parts of the universe, and I want to see that. I want to see what the Hubble telescopes are, capturing. And I know there's a program on Netflix now, isn't there, about things that it's captured. I haven't watched that one yet, but so I spiritually, no, love it to be true. But ghosts-wise, I'm fairly sure there is ghosts. I don't know how or why they're there. Maybe it's a time thing. That maybe one of these. I always thought that dark matter was time itself, and maybe that just picks up sort of see things that happen from the past and just throws them into the present, or makes us be able to see them. I don't know, but I think yes. people do see ghosts for certain, for real. They're not making it up. And
Some of them
it's
are.
quite fascinating. Hello?
Some of them are.
Lamar? What's Lamar got to do with it?
Some of them are making it up
Oh.
for the views.
Oh, yeah. I get some of them are, and there's some of them trying to film it. I don't think, maybe some of the things they've shown with poltergeist-wise can be true, but you can never say that something's been filmed. Oh, there it is. That's definitely happened because it's been filmed, because it can be faked. But when you've seen it with your own eyes, that's a different thing altogether. I know people tell stories, and I know most of ghost stories are fake. They're just stories. But there are some that are genuine. People have seen them, and it's quite fascinating. I don't feel scared by the concept of seeing a ghost. Well, I think most of the time people see ghosts, they don't realise they're seeing a ghost until afterwards. Because they think, well, it's like when you have a dream, you have something that's happened in your dream, and while you're having it in the dream, you think it's real, and then you wake up and think, oh, hang on, that can't be real. Yes, I maybe people have filmed, experiences with hauntings that were actually real, but like I say, it can't be proven by a bit of video, because people can do anything with video now to make it look like something's happened. You see it on YouTube all the time, all sorts of weird things going on there. That, oh my God, what have they done? Oh no, it's just been a special effect someone's put on it. That's like why people are now thinking that the moon landings are fake, because it's been filmed, and that's easily explained. And where all the sort of TV footage of the moon landings is so grainy, that's easy. It was probably easy to recreate even in the late 1960s. But Kirby, believe me, I'm not saying the moon landings didn't happen. I actually caught on a live on TikTok the other day of a flat earther very scientifically explaining why the Earth is flat. And me being sort of a high degree of pedantic and of finding it very hard to keep my gob shut, did a very good job. I kept my gob shut and just skipped on and watched something else. But because I was just getting so sort of, I'm fascinated how you can actually scientifically explain why the world is flat, but why you're not explaining why, when I was a teenager and I, on a very clear day, had a pair of binoculars looking up the River Severn and seeing just the tops of the towers that supported the bridge, not the whole bridge itself, over the horizon. So why, if the Earth was flat, surely I'd see the whole bridge with me binoculars,
Exactly.
Sort of things like that.
I also watch YouTube channels debunking flat earthers. There's one that is great called Simon Dan.
Mm-hmm.
He goes after flat earthers and other cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
I always
if I may change things back to Doctor Who.
Yes.
Of course.
I was just, while you guys were talking, I was scrolling through my YouTube subscriptions and ran across, I subscribed to the Jerry Anderson YouTube channel. I'm sure you've heard of Jerry Anderson, even though he's
Don't
dead.
be facetious, Kirby, 'cause that's my job.
Anyway, they just put out 91 minutes ago a YouTube video called Nicola Bryant versus Stingray. It says this week's special guest is Nicola Bryant, who virtually needs no introduction aside from her iconic role in Doctor Who. She's made numerous film, TV, and stage appearances, and she's got a love of all things Anderson.
Oh, the long pause, I suppose that's for me to interject. Sounds good.
Yeah. So I plan to watch that.
Stuff to watch this week continues with me with the Victoria Murder Files on Discovery Plus, real-time crime, and there's also a new series called The Evil Lives Here, The Killer Speaks, where they interview horrible evil murderers in prison. I haven't watched that one yet because I don't like them. I don't like evil murderers and stuff. That's that.
We're going to let Kirby say what he's been watching.
Have you said what you've been watching?
Yes,
Kirby?
I did.
Yeah, that's how we got onto flat earthers and whatnot.
Fair enough.
But that's all right.
So we got onto flat earthers because of Debbie mentioning ghosts.
Ghosts. I've always been fascinated by them. I wanted to study parapsychology as well.
I'm fascinated when I see them myself. Of that poor little doggy. Anyway, and of course we do experience sort of weird stuff in the house anyway. And it's usually animals that I sort of have. I don't see them, but we do feel the presence, and that sounds really weird, but you feel the
I
presence.
have cats rubbing around my ankles when all my cats are accounted for elsewhere. It's weird.
It's things like when Magic was here, obviously Tigger was our first dog, and Tigger would jump up and sit in our bamboo chair, which is going to be going soon, sadly. And when Magic sat in that chair, he'd be quite comfortable, and suddenly just jump up and jump off and look back up at the chair, because somebody else probably had, sat in it. And that happens the same now, because now Odie has 2 dogs that used to use that chair as their own. He doesn't sit in that chair very much, but you do feel there's like a coolness going past your legs, which isn't a draft in the middle of the summer. It's you just feel their presence, and odd things happen in the house where things disappear and then reappear when they obviously weren't there when we were looking for them, and they're in an blatantly obvious place. Come on, give it back, and then it comes back. It's all sorts of stuff. We don't see anything, but we know that this is an old house. It was built in 1860, and people died in it, animals died in it.
Oh, I was wondering. I've seen your house from.
Ours is older than yours.
I don't give a tinker's
older than
cuss.
yours.
So next week,
my house was built like 1800 or something. Yeah.
It won't be next week, will it? I'm sure I've got something on next week. I'm just checking. So next week's Doctor Who episode, next time's Doctor Who episode is Flat Earthers. No, sorry, Flatline.
Flatline.
Sorry.
By the same author, but he actually wrote this one Flatline first.
We could
discuss. Due to his doing such a good job with Flatline that he was invited to do Mummy on the Orient Express.
Talk about Flat Earthers, Kirby. Why have none of these Flat Earthers had the courage to go up in space? And I was thinking that myself, and I'm thinking, right, the reason why is because when they look out the window and see the Earth in space, they probably think it's some sort of HD projection. Even though if they move their head, they can see something in 3D. I think they'll explain it away with HD.
I want to hear their explanation for the thing I'm going to be doing in a couple of months. I'm going to miss a recording day because I will be in Arkansas watching a solar eclipse.
Yeah, that's the other thing I was going to ask.
Kansas.
Yeah, I'd love them to explain.
No, Arkansas. I used to live in Arkansas.
I know it's Arkansas, but for years as a Brit, it's like, well, there's Kansas and Arkansas. Where's Arkansas?
Arkansas, yeah.
Well, there are states that pronounce it Arkansas.
Oh, okay, so I'm not completely stupid then.
There's a river called the Arkansas River, which when it's not in Arkansas, it's called the Arkansas River.
Right. That's Americans for you.
I thought we were contrary.
The Africa Cup of Nations finals on at the moment. I think somebody might have scored. Oh yeah, someone scored. Who scored?
That's going to be an interesting trip because I'm going to be. That's where I went to high school and was my teenage formative years. So we're going to be doing a lot of that.
I know that's something I'm never going to see. I'd always want to see a full solar eclipse. Saw a partial one a few years ago, but
well, you still have time to get over here.
I'm never going to be able to do that, Kirby. Come on, stop being stupid. I haven't got money or anything.
One day I will.
But I would love to see one, like the Aurora Borealis, which I've got more chance of seeing because I think it will eventually.
Well, they're turning up down here nowadays.
Yeah, exactly.
But remember, Tim Drury attempted to see the last eclipse, which I saw.
Yes, he did.
Well, if we had one, it would be a cloudy sky anyway. So
it's always a cloudy sky whenever we have an eclipse.
If I don't see this one because it's raining or cloudy, that's fine. I've seen one; it was fantastic. But I see another one that's just icing on the cake.
I got to watch one years ago, just sat up at the park because it was so grey that you could just look up and watch it.
And we're also
grey clouds. It was.
We're also going to go digging for diamonds at a place that has an exposed diamond vent.
Cool.
And someone discovered a couple of weeks ago a 3 or 4 carat diamond.
Whoa, you might be in luck.
Yeah.
I doubt it. I went there when I was a teenager and got nothing. So.
Arkansas.
Anyway, talking about the end of the show.
Really?
Next week I'm filming Michelle's show at at Medina Theatre, so I won't be doing podcasting. I'm sorry.
Oh,
to say,
so the 18th is
Yeah,
no?
we're off
It's
next
off,
week.
yes, I know.
Okay,
So
because
that's it for that, I'm afraid. Sorry, but yeah, it will be flat earthers. I mean, flat line.
on the 25th instead.
Yeah, if nothing comes in between me and that date at
Well,
that
you
time.
need to let me know in advance, so I will.
Let's just take
I
it as
try my
read for now.
best to let you know in advance, Kirby.
Let's take it as read for now that that's what we're doing.
No, I am taking it for
Flat
it.
line will be on the 25th.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Stuff coming through on the live feed.
Hello, everybody on the live feed.
After Lillian Robbins said, "See you next week," Neil James sadly
What are you
came
hooked
back
on?
and go, "Sorry, I'm at work." And then, "Hi
Oh,
everyone, I miss Lillian." And then, "Not had time to do feedback, but it's all right. I like Frank Skinner. 3 out of 5."
Nice.
Right. So I've got lots to do now because I've got to
We'll
try and get
hopefully
the
have
show
Mary next
out.
time we're on.
Hopefully, yes.
Yes.
And the African Cup of
And
Nations,
anybody watching,
Nigeria's in the league.
anybody
By the way-
watching the superb owl this weekend, you know?
Not
What's
me,
the matter with you? Sorry, the dog's
I absolutely despise the whole thing, but someone. Lillian said she was watching.
Lillian's watching it, and yeah, she's having a party. A superb owl party.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm having a superb trying to shut the show down party, but that doesn't seem to be working
Well,
too
why
well.
don't we say goodbye?
Bye.
Anyway, for those who did partake in feedback, thank you very much. For those that didn't, get your finger out until next week. Goodbye.
Yeah. Goodbye, fancy pants.
Yeah, correct.
The 20 megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production, sponsored by whowon.co.uk and lavazi.co.uk. We are proud members of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended. The music on this podcast is covered by limited online music license from PRS for Music.